All right, last time I was here, yeah, and we're talking about manhood. So I want to get the female perspective on what you think manhood is, or whether you see it or not. What does it look like for you as a lady, as a woman? What do you think what do you think about manhood?
So when I think of manhood, I think of strength. I think of security. I think of adoration. I think of pressure. I think of companionship. I think a multitude of things.
All right, can you see that in the men in 2020?
Admittedly, not as much as I used to. So, I think there has been a bit of a shift. When I was growing up, I certainly saw manhood all around me. It was something I could recognize, I could feel, touch, smell. Now, not so much. And I'm not sure whether that's because I've evolved as a person, and I have a lot of the attributes I associated with manhood.
You have them?
Yes.
Why do you have them?
So some of the, the attributes I mentioned before, strength, companionship, security, I have those things.
Do you feel like, when it comes to black women specifically and black men, do you feel like black women have taken a more manhood type role than the black man has?
I don't think black women have taken on more manhood roles. I think what's happened is our perception of manhood has changed as we've grown older. So the things I reeled off before were the things I thought of, when you mentioned manhood. But now, as I'm older, I actually see them as things that are fluid. So
manhood is fluid.
No, so the attributes I mentioned
attributes
before
are fluid. Oh, okay.
Are fluid. So strength, companionship, security. A man can get that from a woman. So it's something that arguably I could use to define womanhood as well.
Yeah, but then if a man, you're a woman, so if a man wanted to get those same attributes from you, how would that? Do you think that dynamic would work?
Yes.
For you?
Yeah.
You could be the quote unquote man in the relationship, or exhibit the male attributes in the relationship.
Well, the thing is, my perception of manhood when I was younger has changed now. That's why I'm saying it's fluid.
Right.
So some of those attributes I mentioned before, I think women can have them as well.
I do.
I think men can similarly have attributes that have traditionally been, associated or tagged as feminine.
Don't you think women will find that a little bit effeminate? Don't you think they would seek the actual attributes that you're talking about from a man? Like, would you, if you're taking on those male attributes, because for me, I think this is biological. So would you think that you would seek that from an actual man if you were taking that? If you were taking on those male attributes, wouldn't you want that?
I would want them from a man, and I do want them from a man. I think the difference is when I think of the attributes I mentioned before, I can have those attributes, but I think there are varying degrees of them. So I will be at one spectrum of the security or strength attribute, and I expect a man to be probably a bit further on, and that's just from my upbringing, from what I've seen in life, and also from what I like. I want the man to be
a man.
A man. I want him to show strength. I want him to provide security. But I'm also very cognizant of the fact that it's not something you can do at level 10 all the time for a man. So as a woman, I think, we have some of those attributes as well. We can come in at probably a level 4 or 5 on some of those attributes. And that's okay. I
think it's my view, that manhood is being lost. I think manhood is actually the art of manhood is being lost, and I feel
why do you think that?
Because I feel like a lot of men don't have a man to look to understand what manhood is. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I feel is going on in these days and times, which is why, in my own view, I find a lot of the so-called men betraying a lot of effeminate behaviours that I would call effeminate. Like, I think a lot of men are like over emotional nowadays. I think they're quick. I think they're very quick to emotion.
So you think women are emotional?
Yeah, women are. They're the more emotional sex. They are. They're the more emotional sex. But I think what's going on now is a lot of men are becoming more emotional than women. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just like, a man is like a planner. He's a strategist. He's logical thinking. He's strong. He understands what he's doing. And I just think a lot of men get very quick to emotion nowadays.
So what if I was to tell you that I was all those attributes you just reeled off for a man?
No, I would agree with you. You probably are. But I'm saying, like you were talking about the spectrum and the degrees, I think men are more so than that.
Yeah.
I do feel like, in my personal view, I feel like a lot of women have had to step in and fulfill those roles, because I think, especially black manhood, is to some degree under attack, or has been under attack. And so a lot of black men, for me, display a lot of what they think is manhood. Like, you see, like women say, I like a bad guy or I like a bad boy, right? For me, this is my own analysis, right? So I think that the energy or the attributes of like aggression has been substituted for what manhood is. So a lot of men display that aggression and that don't mess with me attitude, yeah? But that's not generally manhood, because they can't plan, strategize. A lot of those men can't strategize. A lot of those men don't know what it is to look to the future and plan for the future. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of women get confused about what manhood is, and I feel that's like been a substitute for it. So if you display that, a lot of women are attracted to it, but there might not be so much substance behind it.
I hadn't thought of that. Because I personally have never said I like the bad guy, so to speak. I like a guy who is very clear on his intentions. He's intentional. You know, no games. He's very clear on what does he stand for. He is strong, opinionated, but he's also, you know, a metaphorical teddy bear. So someone you can go to for that security.
Right.
And that's what I think, well, I can't speak for all women, but that's what I would say is a real man. And also someone who can just look at the savannah and survey it, not feel the need to do anything, because he's got that inner strength. He doesn't need to do anything. You know, he's very secure and content with his ability. That's what I find attractive in men.
So